Good morning, Cityside. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. All you beautiful moms out there. Thank you for your loving, nurturing ways. And we're going to start off with a little India Ari, I Am Light. Sing along if you know this one. I am light, I am light. 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 I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I am not mistakes that I have made or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I left behind. I am light. I am light. Oh, I am light. 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 I am So taking you back on this one. A little Desiree. You gotta be bad, Cityside right now. Bad and bold, Aimee Daniels. Listen as your day unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard. You gotta be tough. You gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool. You gotta be calm. You gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Herald what your mother said. Read the books your father read. Try to solve the problems in your own sweet time. Some may have more cash than you. Others take a different view. My, oh my. Hey, hey, hey. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Time asks no questions, it goes on without you, leaving you behind if you can't stay. and the pace. The world keeps on spinning, can't stop if you try to. This time it's danger staring you in the face. Listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard. You gotta be tough. You gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool. You gotta be calm. You gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Yes. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Yes. Got to be bad, got to be bold, got to be kind, got to be light, got to be love. Love so hard, said all I know is love will save the day. All I know is love will save the day. All I know is love will save the day.
Hello, Cityside, and welcome to our Sunday morning service and celebration. My name is Russ Laguerre, and I'm one of your licensed spiritual practitioners and ministers in training, and I just finished all my ministerial exams. So, if you are here for the first time, we especially want to welcome you. At Cityside, we are about practical spirituality that you can use to create the life you want. And we embrace new thought and wisdom paths, and we are affiliated with the Centers for Spiritual Living. We honor all paths and we practice oneness. And really, what we're all about is providing a supportive community for you to grow and to deepen in your relationship with spirit, whatever that might look like for you. And so today, our licensed spiritual practitioner, Don, is holding vigil for us so that we can have a deeper and more transformative experience. And now I'll ask you if you'd be so kind as to join me in speaking our vision and mission out loud. I'll wait for that slide there. We envision an empowered community that is living in a world of unconditional love and action. Our mission is to create safe spaces to explore and deepen our faith, grow in spiritual relationship, and connect with our authentic nature. And we are a social media friendly community. So tweet us, Instagram us, Facebook us, smoke signal us, carrier pigeon us, whatever you're doing to get the word out these days. We very much appreciate you helping us get more people onto our Sunday service and all of the other offerings that we have throughout the week. Also, please check in and let people know that you're here. We really appreciate that. And so our theme for May is Don't Stop Believing. And today the fabulous Reverend Aimee will be speaking about On the Way to Deepening. And really what this means for me when I think of deepening, I've been in this whole ministerial program now for 3.5 years, and I've had to approach aspects of myself that I didn't even know were there, and I certainly have grown. So I'm really excited to hear what Reverend Aimee has to say for us today. And so now is our time to greet our neighbors online in the chat, whichever chat you might be in. And today's icebreaker to share in the chat is what do you appreciate about your mom?
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday, this blustery, lusty month day of May. I have a reading for you, and then we will do a meditation and a prayer. So take in these words and hold them in your hearts. It's from Joel Goldsmith, and the title is Living in Grace. You must learn to stop, sometimes for a day or two, and say, let me not trust my mind, let me relax in God. Invite the soul, relax the soul without words or thoughts. God is not in the whirlwind. God is not in your problems. God is not in your thinking. God is not in your books. God is in the still small voice. In order to hear that voice and receive its importations and its grace, we must live quietly and peacefully in the within. There must come a rest from the activity of the mind, from taking thought for our lives, for fearing our lives, from constantly knowing the truth in order to avoid some experiences. There must come a rest, the Sabbath. In this Sabbath, we live by grace, because now we do not merely know the truth, we are the truth, and the truth reveals itself to us. It is not an activity of our mind. It is the soul revealing itself. Realize I is God, and the word that is imparts to me is the bread, the meat, the wine, and the water. Then you have entered the Sabbath. And for the rest of your days, you will live by the grace of God, by its Spirit. When you reach this stage, you can relax and rest in the truth, instead of feverishly searching for and reading and studying truth. You become a state of awareness without taking thought, without speaking or thinking. Every word, every feeling, every emotion, every thought that comes to you from the deep withinness of you is what you now live by. It guides, it directs, it sustains, it protects. It goes before you to make the crooked places straight. There are always a sufficiency of God's grace present for this moment. Take a deep breath, taking these words in and holding them in your heart. And breathe, quietly meditating on the grace of God. Now take a very deep breath of love, of peace. Come back into your room, recognizing the one power, the one source, the one presence in this perfect moment. I know I am one with this power, the source and the presence that I call God. We are one with the one. Right here, right now, I speak a blessing over all who have gathered here today, all who view this service anytime the Spirit moves them. We are one, always and ever. And today I speak a blessing over our musical team for sharing their talents with us, bringing it and raising the service up. And a blessing over all on the team who have been planning and working with technology to bring us together today in our virtual community. And I especially speak a blessing over Reverend Aimee Daniels for sharing with us the divine and unique message, that message which each of us needs to hear today will speak to us individually. And I speak a blessing to all who are experiencing this moment in the now everywhere. The divine unconditionally loves and fills them, guiding them, directing them, sustaining them, and protecting them. Breathe this all in, and by the grace of God, together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Connie. That was beautiful. So today for the feature song, there was a special request from the lovely Reverend Aimee Daniels. And this is a song that is new. It's written by Alicia Keys, and this is called Good Job. And this is for all of you out there who are on the front lines and who are helping us and holding us high to get through this time. You're the engine that makes all things go, and you're always in disguise, my hero. I see your light in the dark, smile in my face when we all know it's hard. There's no way to ever pay you back. Bless your heart, know I love you for that. Honest and selfless, I don't know how this helps, but good job. You're doing a good job, a good job. You're doing a good job. Don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, 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 yeah. Good job. You're doing a good job. Don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, 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 yeah. 6 in the morning. As soon as you walk through the door, everyone needs you again. The world's out of order. It's not as sound when you're not around. All day on your feet, hard to keep that energy. I know when it feels like the end of the road, you don't let go. You're the engine that makes all things go, always in disguise, my hero. I see a light in the dark, smile in my face when we all know it's hard. There is no way to ever pay you back. Bless your heart, know I love you for that. Honest and selfless, I don't know if this helps it, but you're doing a good job. A good job, a good job, said a good job, a good job. Don't let you get down, the world needs you now. It's a good job, a good job. You're doing a good job. Don't get too down. The world needs you now. Know that you matter, 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 yeah. The mothers, the fathers, the teachers and reachers, strangers to friends that show up in the end, from the bottom to the top, the listeners that hear us, this is for you. You make me feel less. Don't get you down, the world needs you now. Good job. You're doing a good job. Good job. Thank you.
Good morning, Cityside. After that song, I don't know if I can speak right now. Tiffany started singing and I was like, oh! But I just want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. And whether you're a mom, whether you have a mom, whether you serve as a mom to people, or you just offer your love and care to people, just we really want to celebrate you today and wish you a happy Mother's Day. And we're actually going to do something a little bit different this morning to kick off my talk. If the gods of technology smile on us, I believe that Keith is going to show a video right now.
Tell me the one about the virus again, then I'll go to bed.
But my boy, you're growing weary, sleepy thoughts about your head.
Please, that one's my favourite. I promise just once more.
Okay, snuggle down, my boy, though I know you know full well. The story starts before then, in a world I once would dwell. It was a world of waste and wonder, of poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight's 2020. You see, the people came up with companies to trade across all lands, but they swelled and got much bigger than we ever could have planned. We'd always had our wants, but now it got so quick. You could have anything you dreamed of in a day, and with a click. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke, but the meaning must have melted, and the work-life balance broke. And the children's eyes grew squarer, and every toddler had a phone. They filtered out the imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. And every day the skies grew thicker, till you couldn't see the stars. So we flew in planes to find them, while down below, we filled our cars. We'd drive around all day in circles. We'd forgotten how to run. We swapped the grass for tarmac, shrunk the parks till there were none. We filled the sea with plastic, because our waste was never capped, until each day when you went fishing, you'd pull them out, already wrapped. And while we drank and smoked and gambled, our leaders taught us why. It's best to not upset the lobbies. More convenient to die. But then in 2020, a new virus came our way. The governments reacted and told us all to hide away. But while we all were hidden, amidst the fear and all the while, the people dusted off their instincts. They remembered how to smile. They started clapping to say thank you and calling up their mums. And while the car keys gathered dust, they would look forward to their runs. And with the skies less full of voyagers, the earth began to breathe, and the beaches bore new wildlife that scuttled off into the seas. Some people started dancing, some were singing, some were baking. We'd grown so used to bad news, but some good news was in the making. And so when we found the cure, and were allowed to go outside, we all preferred the world we found to the one we'd left behind. Old habits became extinct, and they made way for the new, and every simple act of kindness was now given its due.
But why did it take a virus to bring the people back together.
Or sometimes you've got to get sick, my boy, before you start feeling better. Now lie down and dream of tomorrow and all the things that we can do. And who knows, if you dream hard enough, maybe some of them will come true. We now call it the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many. But that's the story of and why hindsight's 2020.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Keith. And I didn't share that for the political statement. I shared that for the later part of the video, which is really about the realizations that we're all having right now as we go through this. And, you know, some of these realizations are personal, some of them are spiritual, but I want to invite you into a conversation today about what are you discovering about yourself right now? And how is Spirit inviting you to go deeper right now and become more of who you are, your true spiritual self, and to rest from efforting and to simply allow Spirit to lead you, to deepen in your own spiritual practice and your own spiritual understanding. So let's talk about the spiritual invitation of this time. As Connie read to us from Joel Goldsmith, there comes a point on our spiritual journey where we rest from the activity of our minds, from taking thought for our lives. So the invitation spiritually is really just to trust God at a deeper level, to be the source of our lives. And when I was preparing, I was thinking about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Any Indiana Jones fans out there? So if you know that movie, he's in search of the Holy Grail, and he comes to this place where there's two buildings, and he's in one and the Holy Grail's in the other one, but there's like this huge moat underneath him. And he knows the story of the Holy Grail, so he knows that there is a leap of faith that is part of this journey, and he knows if he takes this leap, the path will appear. And of course, that's what happens in the movie. But I think life is like that. The proof that, you know, Spirit is present, that spiritual principles work, really comes from our leap of faith. We have to be willing to jump and to trust that Spirit is there for us. And that can be very difficult for our intellectual mind that wants to stay safe, right? But we spiritually want to know and trust that God is our source and that all will be well. And I'm not negating the human experience we're having right now, because it's a very real experience with people being sick, you know, people losing their jobs, things we would never wish on anyone. But I want us to stay in the spiritual conversation right now and in the spiritual mindset that's going to support us to begin to transcend what is happening, to come away from this with an experience of deepening in understanding and knowing the spiritual nature of life. So it's really our inner work that cultivates us in transcending, right? So the grace which Joel Goldsmith talks about, you know, grace is an age-old concept. Actually, Ernest Holmes doesn't talk that much about grace. I looked in the back of Science of Mind. He has 4 quotes that use the word grace, but he never really explains it. And I think it's because Ernest was so focused on the law, and we teach love and law. And I like to think of the love as being the grace. That is how God shows up for us, is in the love and the grace. But grace is an age-old concept. We've been studying this in Foundations. It appears on all the religious paths, and it's generally defined as a profound blessing or an unexplained divine gift. But let's be honest about our human experience. Sometimes what we're experiencing does not feel like grace when it's happening, right? Sometimes we can't see it except in hindsight. But what does it feel like when we are experiencing it, when we're able to experience it? It feels light, it feels kind of sweet, it feels fulfilling. It might feel like there's a blessing or a synchronicity. And I often think about the other side of that, like, you know, there but for the grace of God go I. You know, haven't we all had the experience in life where, you know, something could have gone terribly wrong, but it didn't? And sometimes we realize later that grace was present, but we can't see it except in hindsight. So what is grace? Spiritually, grace is the self-givingness of spirit. And that is always happening. That is God loving you. That is always happening. Our job spiritually is to begin to become aware of it. So how do we experience this? We have to like release our need to control things, to fix things. We need to stop resisting what is. We need to become more trusting. You know, maybe we just need to surrender. You know, it's so easy for us to fight reality. And I think one of the interesting things about the time we're in right now is we all just sort of have to accept it if we're going to function in day-to-day life, right? It's like our inner, the part of us that's inside of us that just wants to fight reality can really be up for people right now. But like spiritually, we want to try to move into acceptance. And what happens when we move into this acceptance? Then we're more open. We can become the observer. We can witness the process of life. We can see its patterns. We can see its intelligence. Like if you think about what we saw in that video we just watched, there was an intelligence that they were reflecting that would emerge from what is going on right now. Like people realizing that, hey, I want to live my life differently, or, you know, the people who matter to me, I'm going to make them more important because I've been distracted by my iPhone, or I've been off doing other things in the world rather than paying attention to what really matters to me, but just coming into a deep realization of the goodness that's all around us. Now, some of you might be experiencing a little resistance just in listening to me talk right now. And if that's where you're at, I can't see you, so I can't get a, yeah, I feel resistant to this God is good, grace is present thing. But if you feel triggered, you know, I just want to talk a little bit about that, you know, because it's normal. It's part of life. You know, Russ presents the things that have come up for him while he's been in school that needed to be healed. I think that that is what's happening for many of us right now. Like the thing that is coming up for us is what needs to be healed. And I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But like what helps me when I'm going through it is just to realize, like, when I think things aren't the way they're happening is not the way they're supposed to be, just reminding myself, like, if it's happening, it must be supposed to be happening. And that there is a greater wisdom that I can't see right now. And so sometimes we can't see the reason till later. So if you're in that place of resistance right now, just like give yourself a little grace with that, give yourself a little self-love with that, and just realize like there might be a gift that's going to come through for you later. But I also invite you to consider like what are the gifts that are present for you right now. I've been thinking about that in my own life. Like I'm feeling in my life right now, I'm feeling more personal stability than I've felt in a very, very long time. I'm finding that I have more time to think, you know, because normally people who know me, especially my prayer partners, know I'm always driving around most of the time, but I'm finding more time to think. And one of my clients said to me this week, you know, I really like what you're doing right now. You're doing a lot more for us. And I said, you know, it's not that I didn't want to do more before. I'm like, I couldn't. I physically was in my car 50% of the time. And so what's opening up for me is like, I'm really able to be in thought about how do I serve my clients better because I'm not running around so much. So there are gifts for all of us. Maybe the gift is you're actually getting more sleep, or you're eating better, or you're exercising. But there are gifts here, and our job is to look for what they are. Our work is to be receptive, to cultivate our inner state. You know, spirit responds to us by corresponding. So whatever is in our inner state, spirit corresponds to that. So if we want to work with spirit, what we need to do is we need to think about what are the spiritual qualities that we want to call forth right now. So what are the spiritual qualities that you want to call forth right now? I was having a conversation this week with someone, and we were talking about the lack of freedom of expression that we have in terms of like being able to be out in the world right now. Like, right, it's not as easy to be social, things like that. But if we are thinking about like, what's the spiritual quality that we might be affirming and calling forth right now, we might want to call just forth freedom of expression right where we are. Maybe you can't go party with 10 of your friends, or, you can't be out in the world in the ways that you might usually be out in the world. But maybe there's a way for you to find freedom of expression right where you are. Think about isolation. Many people are feeling isolated, particularly people who live by themselves, and it's so understandable. But spiritually, what we want to cultivate is connection, right? We want to affirm connection. And, I think about our lives as like a house that's under construction. And I just had some construction in my home. And like there was all this banging and this mess. And I was just kind of like, oh my God, trying to work from home. I can't think, right? But think about that in life. When your life is under construction, when your life is changing, sometimes it feels like things are banging around. Sometimes it feels like it's messy. But just like the house, like the construction on the house is for the purpose of making the house more beautiful or more functional or updating it. And that's the same thing when your life is changing, when your life is under construction. It's for the purpose of making it better. So I want you to think about, what we're going through right now with shelter in place. And I want you to think about, who will you be when we emerge from this? I've heard this called also not just the great realization, but also the great pause. So who do you want to be? And what spiritual practices, what visioning, what contemplation, what could you do right now? Maybe you've always dreamed of writing and you could take a little time to write, or, thinking about our beautiful musicians. Maybe you're a songwriter and maybe this is the time you're going to write that incredible song. Like, what do you want when you emerge from this? This time is a great invitation. It's a great invitation. You have a little space. We have a little pause so we can embrace being versus doing, to really embrace knowing that God's our source. And so how do we do this? Because you have to look at your inner dialogue. You need to look at like, what's the conversation in your head? My question that I'm asking myself right now is, how do I go deeper? How do I go deeper in serving? How do I go deeper in knowing that God is my source, not my work, not my paycheck? How do I go deeper in understanding that, like, I can do less, but I can do it better. I can do it at a deeper, more fulfilling level. And there might be some question in your life right now that's magnified through your circumstances, that thing you've always struggled with. And if you're struggling right now, I just invite you to get present to what's happening underneath that. I was talking to Angela, my practitioner, this week, and we were talking about something in my life that happened a few years ago that was extremely painful and just really heartbreaking. And, spiritually, I made the decision to stay with it. And it was, I just cannot tell you how hard it was, because this in your life when you're suffering, like, to stay with that, it's really hard, right? But she said to me, she said, I think your lesson was to transcend what was happening. That was your lesson, to transcend the suffering. That's what the Buddha taught, to transcend the suffering, to know that grace is happening, whether we see it or not. Spirit is loving us, whether we see it or not. We're all experiencing the same, like, outer phenomenon, but it's happening for all of us differently in terms of what's happening inside of us. And it may be happening physically differently for some of us. Many people have lost their jobs. That may be the experience that you're having. But we are together in spirit in this. And so I want to go just a step deeper on this idea of transcending. And I just want to help you explore whatever the thing is that's up for you a little bit. So maybe it's isolation or loneliness that you're dealing with. And, just be honest with yourself. Like, is that really always your issue, or is it just your issue now? Because sometimes whatever our issue is just coming up at a deeper level right now, right? So I mentioned myself, like, I can really define myself by the outer, and what's one way of keeping track of that? What I'm earning, right? And what I'm earning is down a little bit. I'll just be honest and share that. But, it's my opportunity to transcend this belief that my source is outside of me, or that my source is about money. You know, there's lots of ways spirit can take care of us. And so, you know, what's up for you right now? And how do you do the work to transcend that? Maybe it's your victimhood. You know, maybe it's feeling like you have no power over the experience, like this is happening to you. So if that's what you're experiencing, like, how do you move yourself up a little bit just to know, like, you know, even though I can't see it, this is for me. This is for me. This is not happening to me. God hasn't singled me out alone, right? To have this experience. We are having a collective experience right now, which I really believe is to help us all to learn to transcend our current way of being and to move into a more powerful way of being collectively. But we need to find our spiritual power, and we need to embrace trust within this. And isn't that the hardest thing for all of us, to simply just to trust that things are going to be okay, and to trust that spirit's got us. But what's here for you right now? What's up for you right now? And how do you take this experience and use it to transcend, so that when we come out of it, that you can have a completely different experience of life? You can have that completely different experience right now, spiritually. And we do this through principle and practice. That's what we teach here. This is the basics. You guys know this. I'm preaching to the choir here, but when we want to embrace a different principle in our life, so let's say we're feeling there's a limit in our personal freedom of expression, we want to affirm that spiritual quality. We want to affirm freedom of expression. If we're experiencing lack, we don't want to affirm lack. We want to affirm that we are sourced, that God is our source. So what do we do when we pray affirmatively? God is all there is, right? God is the only thing that's happening. I'm one with that. I affirm that I have enough. I am enough. I affirm that I have personal freedom right where I am. And then we express gratitude as if it is already done. I give thanks that my personal freedom is present. I give thanks that right where I am right now, I have inner freedom. And maybe also it's helpful to put a little physical movement in this too, you know. As I said before, maybe you can't go running with 10 of your friends, but like, what could you do right now to express your personal freedom? What could you do right now to express your creativity or your abundance? What could you do right where you are to give yourself the awareness that, like, spiritually, nothing has been taken from you, right? This is the great lesson. The inner life is the real life. So spiritually, love is the only power that is. Grace is the self-givingness of spirit. And what is grace? Grace is God loving us. So as you make changes, as you encounter challenges, whatever you're doing, just affirm that you are safe and secure. Affirm that spirit is present. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your inner self. And I want to talk for a second about COVID-19. Because it is a physical phenomenon in the world of form, but metaphysically, it's not a thing. It is happening within God. But what's up for a lot of people is fear right now. And in the physical world of form, that is so understandable. It's so understandable. But as metaphysicians, our work is to practice. This is not a thing. It is not an entity unto itself. And your body has the same divine intelligence in it that created this entire universe. Your body knows how to heal itself. Your immune system knows how to heal itself. So spiritually, we want to affirm that. And I invite you to do that in your practice. If you're feeling fearful about what's going on, affirm that. And reach out and get some prayer. If you write to prayer@cityside.me, a practitioner is going to write a prayer for you. Or someone, if you want a phone call, you can get a phone call. Someone can pray with you, but lean into this community. Lean into this community to get your support in transcending and overcoming this. You know, we have a book study starting this week, which E.T. will tell us a little bit more about later. but it's about Pema Chodron's book, about, I can't think of the name of it right now, but Krista Bremberg's leading it. But it's about kind of accepting things as they are, accepting where you are, but like overcoming it, transcending it. And I really encourage everyone to join the book study. Just be in practice, join a prayer call, do whatever you need to do to get supported. You're not in this by yourself. And just make the decision to take the leap of faith. You know, there's a parable in the Bible about the prodigal son. Remember him? He was the guy who was out in the world doing all this stuff he should not have been doing, right? And then he comes home, his other brother gets pissed off. But what's the real message of the parable? The father celebrates him. The father has a feast for him. You know, it's the same thing in our life. The Father is actually the Spirit. So as we turn to the Spirit turns to us. It's the same thing we saw in the prodigal son. As he brought his attention back to his father, his spirit responded to him. Spirit said yes to him. And that's our work, is to make sure that we are turning to Spirit. And I want to speak to the human side just for a second, because I think the heart of the world is opening up right now. And this is an invitation to care and to connect more. The invitation is to express more love. How are you expressing your love? You know, as we saw in the video of the Great Realization, you know, you saw people connecting more to their families. You saw people spending the time doing things together. You saw people living differently. And maybe that's how you're expressing your care right now in the home you live in. You know, maybe you are a first responder. And that beautiful song that Tiffany sang, there's a video. Google Alicia Keys and CNN and watch the video if you haven't seen it. You will be crying by the time you're off of that. But, you know, maybe you're the person who puts the mask on every day, and you go in and you're a nurse, or you work in a manufacturing plant, or you work in a grocery store, and that's how you're expressing your care. Maybe the way you're expressing your care is that you're educating your kids at home right now. You know, but however you're expressing your care right now, please know that what you are doing matters. You are making a contribution to the world. You are giving your love to the world. And that is what matters. That's who we are spiritually. We are love. We come from love. We return to love. Love is really the only thing that's happening. So know that whatever you are doing right now, you are doing a good job and you matter. And just remember that. Remember that you make a difference. The choices you make, the love you give, it makes a difference. You know, keep your spirits up, keep your belief up, get some support. Work on strengthening your muscle of trust and belief, because spirit, love, grace, whatever word you like, the universe, it's here for you. You are being supported right now. And we here at Cityside are here for you. So I feel like we need to take that into prayer. So could we get some prayer going here now? So just invite everyone to close their eyes now and just join me in prayer, just knowing the presence and power of Spirit, knowing the love that is always and everywhere present, the grace that is always and everywhere present. I know that I am one with this love. I am one with this grace. Just as each of the beautiful people hearing my words, the entire world is one with this love and this grace. So from this place of oneness, I am knowing and declaring a transformation, a realization, a transcendence of any way of being that no longer serves us individually or collectively. I just know and claim for each and every one of us that we have a deeper and more profound awareness of the grace, the love, the peace, the goodness that always and everywhere surrounds us. And I just know for each person that we are experiencing connection, we are experiencing love. I just deny that this thing called isolation is real, and I am just knowing and claiming connection for us. I deny that lack has any power here, and I claim sufficiency. I claim God as the source of each person hearing my words. And I just know that whatever support that you need right now, I know that Spirit is bringing it for you. And so I know and affirm that. I bless Cityside. I give great thanks for this beautiful community that comes together in a higher idea of how to live life. I give thanks knowing that these words don't return to us void when we speak them. I give thanks knowing that Spirit says yes to them. And I give thanks knowing that this word is fulfilled. And with so much gratitude, I simply say, and so it is. Amen.
Oh, thank you so much, Reverend Aimee. That was beautiful and inspiring at the same time. And now is our time to be in that atmosphere of beauty and inspiration in our offering. And Cityside is a community supported organization. So each week we practice conscious giving so that we can create this amazing space and experience for all of us to come together in community. One of the reasons that I've been, oh man, I've been a committed giver. I feel like 6, 7 years at Cityside back when I was at Bodie, and the reason that I give is well, there's a lot of reasons. I get to see directly in Cityside in our community. I get to see how my money impacts and uplifts us. But also I get to see my heart open and feel a little bit less constrained about around my money. So I love giving. I hope that you can also get into that feeling of love that when you offer up whatever gifts that you have to give us today. So Keith, can you bring up that slide real quick? The giving slide. Thanks. All right, so there's a couple of different ways that you can give. You can text GIVE to 312-757-8111 or give online at cityside.me/donate. But before we make our gifts, I want to invite you into a ritual that we've been practicing to get into this atmosphere of love and gratitude and inspiration when we make our gift. So if it feels comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes and just reflect back on your week and allow whatever experience was really joyful, an experience that was filled with gratitude, to pop into your mind. And just sit with that feeling. What does it feel like to be in that feeling of gratitude for whatever this experience was? Now just let that gratitude flow into your gift however you choose to give it. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And now if you'll speak our affirmation with me: divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. So thank you so much for your gifts. We really, truly appreciate them. And I'm going to turn it over to the fabulous Tiffany Monique.
Thank you so much, Russ. So today I wanted to change things up a bit from the usual offering song of Fill Me Up. And I wanted to share a beautiful poem that I have shared with some of my dear friends. And this idea of the mother archetype, this idea of child spirit. And we can certainly think about that through the idea of nurturing our own child spirit in this moment of self-care and taking care of ourselves. This is a poem by the Lebanese American poet and philosopher Khalil Gibran on children from his book The Prophet. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but not to make them like you. For the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth, the archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with all his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, be for gratitude. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, though he loves also the bow that is stable.
Thank you, Tiffany, and thank you everyone for your generosity. I'm Eric Todd Rushing, and I serve as Sunday Director here at Cityside. If you are joining us for the first time, we want to welcome you and thank you for blessing us with your presence. Please check out the I Want to Stay in the Loop about Cityside link that I will put in the comments. Fill it out because we'd love to stay connected with you. And if you're not on our mailing list and you want to get on our mailing list, you can fill out that form as well. That will get you on our list. Looking ahead next week, Reverend Kathy Young is back to continue our theme, Don't Stop Believing. And following service today, join Betty Giannopoulos for the happiness meditation at 11:45. The link to get to the happiness meditation is on the events page of our website. It's one click and you're there. Beginning on Wednesday, May 13th through June 3rd from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., join practitioner Krista Bremberg for the book study on Pema Chandran's When Things Fall Apart. This is the book study that Reverend Aimee was referring to. And if you're looking for a service opportunity during this time, Reverend Judy has one for us. Pandemic Pals is an effort to reach out to seniors and others who are isolated and can't see their families. So spread some good by sending encouraging letters and fun drawings to the residents of Harbor Chase in Naperville. I will post the link for this information in the chat and in the Facebook group. When you fill out the form, it'll generate an email that will send you the mailing address so that you can send your letters and your drawings to Harbor Chase in Naperville. We have 3 ways that we can be connected and be in community during the week. We have prayer circles every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m., every Friday at 12 p.m., and a healing and wellness gathering on Mondays at 6 p.m. All these are Central Standard Times if you're joining us from afar. The links to all these online gatherings can be found in our weekly blast and by going to the events page or the calendar on our website. And one of the ways you can help us keep you supported is by going to the My Cityside page on our website, where you can create a profile, be able to log in. Then you can keep your personal information up to date, access giving, check out events, and class history, all from this space. There are simple instructions there and even a short tutorial video you can watch to create a profile to help us keep you supported. Many thanks to our creative team today for making this possible. Keith, Russ, Connie, Don, Tiffany, Greg, Dom, and Reverend Aimee. And lastly, as the Reverend Aimee was talking about, don't leave with anything heavy on your heart. Reach out for prayer. If you are in need of prayer support, please email prayer@cityside.me and we'll get you connected to a practitioner or someone to pray with you. We will continue to keep you posted about how we are gathering in the coming weeks. So get on that email list, join the Facebook group so you can stay up to date. Until next time, Citysiders, happy Sunday.
Thank you, E.T. All right, everybody, we're taking it out. You're all I need to get by. You're all I need to get by. I like a sweet morning dew. I took one look at you, and it was plain to see you were my destiny. With arms open wide, I threw away my pride. I sacrificed for you, dedicate my life to you. I will go where you lead. I'll be right there in the time of need. And when I lose my wit, you'll be right there to push me up that hill. There's no looking back for us. Said we've got to love. Shut up, that's enough. You're all I need to get by. All I need to get by. Yeah, come on. And like an eagle protects his nest, for you I'll do my best. Stand by you like a tree and dare anybody to try to move me. darling, and you have found strength where I was torn down. I don't know what's in store, but together we can open any door. Just to do what's good for you, I'll inspire you a little higher. I know you can make a woman out of a soul that didn't have a goal. 'Cause we've got the right foundation, and with the love and determination, you're all I need. You're all I need. You are all I need. Said you are all I need. Oh, you're all I need to get by. I need to get by. Oh, city side, you're all I need to get by. Russ, Amy, E.T., Dom, Greg, Connie, Keith. Who am I forgetting? All my city siders today. Don, thank you. My Sunday mornings are fulfilled. You're all I need to get by.
Yay.
Oh, beautiful,
everybody.
beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful day. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, everybody.
Love you.
Have a wonderful day.
Let God lead your way.